Hello，Hello，啊，这居然还能换衣服的。好的，这个我们玩开了20分钟，因为我忘记了，我忘记时间啦。我玩消消乐玩到忘记时间啦。为什么在河中央会有一个 no swim？ 这是什么水下秘密基地吗一个不知道在干嘛的片头。
What? Who? Oh, I must have dozed off. Perhaps we need a spot of tea to wake us up. What do you say, Rufus? Yes, quite better get back to work. This book won't write itself. Maybe I should start somewhere easier.
从比较简单的地方写起，然后再来写序。
The sun rose over another perfect day in picturesque Arthurton. To the casual observer, Arthurton seemed like any other small, quiet town. It was nestled in a valley between two mountains, lined by lustrous forests, and perched on the edge of a pristine lake. It had a main street with all the essentials, including a place to sip coffee. It had schools, a college, a church, and a police station. It even had a museum no one ever visited. It was the kind of place you might find anywhere on your travels. Typical, maybe even forgettable. But there was one thing in Arthurton that was unlike any other town in the whole world. Actually, it was a girl. Her name was Jenny LeClue. And she was the world's greatest detective. Finkelstein residence. Oh, hello, Glenda. Yes, he said he might ring. Okay, patch me through then. Richard? Yes, I got it. I did. And my answer is I understand that, but... Well, yes, of course, but... No. Nothing is settled. I'm not going to do it. It goes against everything my books stand for. No, not yet, but... If I could just...
这怕不是编辑叫他改剧情吧？
Please, listen to what I'm saying.
最新的书籍的销量，现在的年轻读者要更多的悬疑危险因素，珍妮越来越胆怯而且重复的冒险，让你逐渐流失掉读者。所以呢，这个有个好消息，是因为来不及取消下本书的订单，所以再给你一次机会。希望你能够写出一个真正的谋杀疑案，开始杀人天真一点，戏剧性吧，不然这将会是珍妮最后的欢呼声。另外有个好消息，终于有真正的报社记者开始评论你的书了。珍妮的线索之不见的果酱三明治。他说，珍妮的线索曾经是儿童爱戴的推理小说，但现在沦为平庸之作。他说这是他看过最烂的儿童读物了，居然还有这样喜欢。不用怀疑，看这个糟糕的低俗作品有害儿童的脑袋。他说这个作者发挥不了想象力。甚至没有办法呈现早期作品的品味跟趣味，也许他只是想靠这些书大捞一笔，不知道。反正他就觉得在浪费时间。如果只看第一章，他费尽全力也很难不睡着。这种垃圾读物至于出版才是他的唯一谜题。他说他这位读者几乎死于无聊。这本书倒是有一个优点，很适合当门档。然后除了他告诉你说我们应该加入谋杀案，还有一些真正的悲剧。然后所以他在打电话在跟他讨论这个。我对你的创作虽然很抱歉，但是还是要振作点好吗？下周打壁球吗？至少很快你就有时间练习反手拍了。所以本来这是一个就是很轻松的一个小镇的一个小镇故事，但是呢，随着这个编辑的要求，他现在必须变成是一个这个有悲剧背景的悬疑故事。他说亚瑟顿永远是个平安快乐的地方，但是很明显恐怕给芬克斯坦粉丝的信。找到一个收集品。
don't understand what you're asking
你的要求太过分了。你要把他的世界搞得天翻地覆。
Kill off my characters and destroy everything I've built over the last
杀我过去
30 years.
30年来的心血吗？
Fine, I'll give you what you want, but I warn you, I'm a streamer. You have unleashed my fury. Good day, sir.
看起来不太妙。
Boring, predictable. Bah! Well, if it's murder they want, it's murder they'll get.
那么，谁要死呢？
It should have been another perfect day in Arthurton. But today was different, and nothing would ever be the same again. To begin with, Jenny LeClue was dead. Her skin was pale, her eyes glassy and frozen. What cruel fate had befallen our beloved detective?
看起来是像是刷牙从椅子上掉下去。
No, no, no! Never move the victim.
Mrs. LeClue, she's doing it again.
Jenny LeClue, you are a dead body. Dead bodies don't talk. But he's doing it wrong! As wonderful as it would be if all cadavers were so talkative, we must deduce the cause of death without their help. With only the evidence laid before us.
所以他在扮演道具是吧？
We build a picture from the fragments left behind. We collect clues, interpret the data, and solve our puzzle one piece at a time. Until it feels as if the victim is speaking to us. But Jenny is right, Jonathan. You mustn't disturb the crime scene. Vital evidence could be lost.
Sorry, Mrs. LeClue.
Okay, you've all had a chance to study the body? Who can postulate how she met her demise?
Ooh, me! I think it was an accident?
Yeah, she obviously wasn't looking where she was going.
So she slipped on the wet floor.
And cracked her head open. Like an egg.
And then she bled to death.
Really? How can you tell?
Well, there's a giant pool of blood around her head.
Yeah, I know. I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
Actually, you're both wrong.
What?
It was cold-blooded murder.
Murder?
Don't be ridiculous.
Where's the murder weapon?
There's no evidence anyone else was even here.
Oh yes, there is. It was murder. And I can prove it.
Jenny had read all the books. She'd absorbed all her mother's teachings. But there was nothing quite like getting your hands dirty.
How many people get the chance to solve their own murder?
The first step in any good deduction was collecting evidence. Seemingly insignificant details could provide a vital piece of the puzzle.
First, I'll search the crime scene for clues.
Then she'd analyze the data. And finally...
deduce the real cause of death.
那首先肯定是这起可疑的嘴角。
The victim has a green smudge on her lips, not lipstick. What a waste of perfectly good coffee.
Jenny's love for coffee was almost as strong as...
Chalky green residue on the rim. Smells like burnt matches.
Jenny's blue sweater was scruffy and quite uncomfortable. But her grandmother had knit. The more it itched, the closer she felt to her.
Approximately 8 sizes too big. And covered in mud. The floor is wet and slippery, but also immaculately clean.
问题是，我怎么知道一个场景有多少个那个？
Without her trusty bifocals, they were her window to the world and the lens through which she focused her keen detective vision.
让我岂不是很容易漏掉吗？
There's no doubt the victim lost a lot of blood.
It wasn't Jenny's style to wear accessories, but this hair clip was its function as a lockpick had saved Jenny from a long night trapped in her school lock. She'd worn it ever since.
I've seen enough. Time to wrap this case up.
Jenny was a meticulous record keeper, noting every relevant clue in her trusty journal. A great detective knew that solving a mystery was simply a matter of connecting the dots.
I'm certain this wasn't a mere accident. Now I just need to prove it. How do I know the victim didn't slip? The victim's boots are filthy. They should have left big muddy footprints on the floor. So where are they? Either someone washed away her footprints, or she was carried here.
哦，原来是一个这样子的游戏啊，好，可以哦。
Okay, that proves she didn't slip.
证明她没有滑倒。真正的死因是
So how did she actually die?
那不就是她中毒的吗
What was the real cause of death? There's a green residue in the bottom of the... It smells of burnt matches. Phosphorus. Also found in common garden fertilizer.
常见的园艺肥料。
The same green mark is on the... Her coffee was spiked with fertilizer. Someone clearly wanted her dead.
这种咖啡难道喝不出味道来吗？是不是有点不太对？
Ah, the case of the dead lab. Gone before her time. Was it poison? Yes. A blow to the head? Yes. An accident? Certainly not. No footprints in an unshattered mug? She was killed somewhere else and carried here. This is the story of a scorned ex-lover.
Jenny?
The gardener enacting...
Jenny!
A deadly brew of fertilizer.
That's quite enough, thank you.
What happens to the gardener?
Is this gonna be on the test?
Remember, class, even the smartest criminals make mistakes. This is how we catch a killer.
But what's the point of all this?
Yeah, there hasn't been a murder in Arthurton in years.
Every town has a dark side, even Arthurton. By doubting, we are led to question. And by questioning, we arrive at the truth. Okay, that's all for today. Don't forget, next class is our field trip to the morgue.
Hello， 早好。
So have a light lunch.
午餐别吃太多，因为要去停时间。这么有趣的课程吗？
The students need to think for themselves, Jenny.
学生要自己思考，
That's
你
why
不要
they're here
每
at
次都要
Gumball.
给他们解答。
To learn.
I just figured we all had places to go. Speaking of which,
And where are you off to, young lady?
I'm a dead body mom, remember? Dead bodies don't tell. See ya.
Wait, before you go,
把地板擦干净。
I have something for you.
Cool. What is it?
If I told you, that would spoil the
The
fun.
LeClues didn't simply hand each other. They hid them. It was a family tradition, and Jenny, with her trusty magnifying glass at her side, nothing eluded her.
寻找礼物。啊噔噔。
A new journal.
To Jenny, there was nothing better than the aroma. It smelled like, without missing a beat. She did what any... She decorated it.
I love nerds. 这好呢？然后呢？ 当家。哦。好，就这样。
A new journal meant new adventures. She imagined all the thrilling cases that would. And on the first page, her mother.
A great detective never
伟
gives
大的
up.
侦探
Love,
永不
Mom.
放弃。
I love it. Thanks, Mom.
Jenny, I wanted to talk about, to say...
Somewhere in the back of Jenny's highly caffeinated brain, her mum was what could be causing her to act so out of character.
眼神回避，防御性肢体语言。他父母要离婚了吗？
Oh, growl.
Jenny saw it coming from a mile away. Her mother was about to get
Emotional.
I really gotta go. No, Jenny, wait. I need your help.
What? Really?
Jenny couldn't believe her ears. It was extremely
没有，
unusual
我
for
今
her
天玩
mother
那
to
个
ask
消
for
消
help.
乐，玩到忘记时间了。
It must be something very important.
我快20分才发现已经8点20了。
A cold case that only someone with Jenny's expertise could solve.
I misplaced the students'
他
essays
弄
into
丢学生
capitation.
的论文了。
See if you can find them for me before you leave. I have to run.
Wow. The case of you sure you want to trust me with such a complex task?
I have no doubt you'll be able to find them.
Jenny was unsure if her mother was unable to detect sarcasm or just really good at it.
Okay, Mom.
当然
I'll
得
find
帮
them
个
before I
忙
leave.
咯。
On one condition.
Yes?
You have to let me help grade them.
One of Jenny's favorite pastimes was grading. Nothing pleased her more than giving a big shiny F to it.
Don't push your luck.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Find the papers and go straight home.
But I'm meeting Keith tonight.
No buts, remember?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm still feeling the effects of being poisoned for your...
Well then, I have the perfect antidote. You're staying with your cousin this weekend, and you still need to pack.
This again. Look, I've considered your offer, Mom, and I'm going to have... I'm old enough to take care of myself.
I'll be back late tonight. There's meatloaf in the fridge.
Late again? What are you up to?
Jenny LeClue, it's been a... Could you please just do...
Fine.
And try to stay out of trouble.
When do I ever get into trouble?
那一看就是个惯犯。
All right, let's find these papers and get out of here.
哦，那我们来看看。
Looking rather trim today, Ethan. New diet? What's the matter? Lost your funny bone?
这是一个2D 横轴游戏。
Becoming a great detective took more than book smarts. You needed real-life experience, and Jenny was always on the lookout for a chance to get her hands dirty.
咦？
Please do not touch. Someone must be running an experiment.
这是什么东西？
Gross. Pretty soon it's gonna sprout legs.
我要怎么捡地上这个？这边没路了。
One of Jenny's earliest memories was making...
It's the perfect substitute for blood in class. And better tasting than the pig's blood the textbook recommends.
但是没有论文。可以出门吗？好像没办法出门。 那个底下是不是压着一张纸？
the students' term papers. You can tell by the terrible handwriting. Mom must have put them behind the chalkboard.
所以我们要
Found you. Time to get out of here.
日志翻页。等一下，这个贴纸贴在这里好像有点挡住视线哎。这删除，已经1年了，想起来还是心痛不已。所以1年前发生什么事情呢？他不是他爸过世了吧？更换标签，地图。哦，还有这样子的呀。啊，原来这个还可以选择诡异的曲子吗？我以为他问我的是那首歌，奇不奇怪
Jenny looked around the room one last time. Was she ready to leave?
离开吧。
Okay, so she wasn't really dead. That would be silly. No, Jenny was alive and well and ready for another perfect day in Arthurton.
那他们总要有死人的呀，不然不能满足编辑的要求。
What the? What a mess! I should investigate.
是不是邪恶的乌鸦？
Jenny had an instinct for sorting treasure. To the untrained eye, but to Jenny, it was a...
I should keep my eyes open for any other pieces.
令人不解的明信片。
The notice board was awash with...
I'm amazed anyone can find it.
Fortunately, Jenny had...
Mom always says, focus on the details, and you'll find clarity in the chaos. I wonder if anyone else reads this. Hold on. What's this?
晚上9点到日出。
No, they've extended curfew hours.
宵禁期间，每日停电的小麻烦。
9 p.m. to sunrise? That's ridiculous.
这是什么可怕的限电措施
Power
吗？
outages had become a regular occurrence in town. It was dangerous to be
It
wandering.
won't be long before we need a permit to go out at all.
那么我们还要调查什么？
Hey, you!
Oh, hi there!
What are you doing back there?
Well, I was pruning. But then I discovered this cerulean bugberry bush.
Discovered? These bushes are all over Arthurton.
Actually, this is an incredibly rare bloom.
There's nothing rare about Arthurton.
I beg to differ. Arthurton has many beautiful and exotic plants.
Really? Like what?
Mushrooms with eyes that glow in the dark, berries that emit a bioluminescent mist, and flowers with nectar as sticky as superglue.
Where? I've never seen any of those things.
Well, believe me,
幻想
they
一下
do.
画
I've
面
had the pleasure of seeing them up close. That's one of the privileges of working for Dean Stroudsbury in his greenhouse. Anyway, I should get back to work. I want everything to be perfect for the Dean's retirement celebration.
什么？这样也行？但我是要剪一下那个纸片的。还是我应该要先把脚踏车给移开？好像也不行。可是那怎么看都像是，难道是我弄错了吗？其实那只是个脚踏板吗？哼，好像只是个脚踏板。好吧，可能只是个脚踏板。真的只是个脚踏板吗？可能只是个脚踏板。好吧，看来这里没有我们要的纸片。
Signs and decorations adorn
a party to celebrate the Dean's impending
院长即
retirement.
将退休的派对。
Left. Left. I said left, damn it. What part of left are you having trouble with?
My left or your left?
My left. Obviously, I mean my left. Why would I mean your left?
So you want me to move it the other way?
Yes. Now, if you're not careful, we're gonna have Brown's brains all over the floor.
They seem busy. I should probably lead them to it.
这个头应该不是这样装上去的吧？哎呀，这个就是那个院长吗
Hello, Mr. Stroudsbury. How are you today?
圣诞老人般的笑
A
容。
jolly gentleman, the Dean was often seen shaking hands and kissing babies around town.
He's also Mom's boss.
But more than that, he was her loyal friend.
What do you think, Jenny?
The Dean had dedicated his life to Gumboldt, and the townspeople had spared no expense in their tribute to him.
Quite a striking resemblance, Mr. Stroudsbury.
It's a scary thing, Jenny. Retirement.
Great excuse for a party, though. What will you do when you're no longer the Dean?
I've been trying not to think about it.
This place won't be the same without you.
Things change, Jenny. Time marches on, and we must do our best to adapt. It's going to be difficult, but I'm sure we will get through it.
What do you mean, we?
Do you think they made my belly too big?
我觉得做小。
It's probably just the perspective, Mr. Stroudsbury.
You are a clever one, Jenny LeClue. Speaking of which, have you been practicing your detective skills?
Have I? Of course.
Well then, I bet you can't guess what I ate for breakfast.
At last, a
早餐是
real
什么？
fiendishly difficult puzzle that would take all her wits to solve.
改天再斟酌。
To be honest, I'm in a bit of a...
Oh,
Sorry, I just...
of course.
What? No, Jenny would never turn down. So she did.
Fine. Anything for you, Mr. Stroudsbury.
Oh, how wonderful.
他的提示有点太让人不能理解了，你知道
I
吗
need to ask you a few questions.
这种少了一颗纽扣。
Dean didn't button his shirt part. It looks like a bloodstain, but the seeds indicate otherwise. Looks like he accidentally put got a coffee stain on it.
A thick bundle of note cards.
What's he keeping so close to his chest? You've been making a lot of notes, Mr. Strauss.
Oh, I was intending to make a speech on Saturday.
Why have you scratched out so much of it?
Your mother suggested I keep it short. I must have rewritten it. I just can't seem to find the right words.
It can't be dandruff. I have a hunch it's powdered sugar.
看来他今天吃的是有糖又有果酱的食物，纯金的、老旧的传家宝，慢了将近1个小时。
His watch is slow. That's unlike the Dean. He's usually very punctual. Your watch is 45 minutes slow.
Is it? Oh my, that explains why there was no cheesecake left in the cafeteria. Thank goodness you noticed. All right?
Oh, really? She didn't know.
Oh, well...
Why are you meeting then?
It's just, she's helping me find...
Your party?
Yes, that's it.
Are you okay, Mr. Strasberry?
Of course. Now let me just fix my watch before I forget. Now, where were we?
Ipsa scientia potestas. Looks like Latin. Your ring sure looks old.
It was made for my grandfather. He passed it down to mine when the time comes.
The Strasberry family had been
What does the inscription mean?
Knowledge itself is power. The inquisitive spirit is, and nothing is as important as the truth.
他是怎样？这应该是草纸吧？
For the Dean, being his work as a botanist was renowned.
Looks like you're carrying some extra baggage today, Mr. Strasberg.
Well, I do have a lot.
I was referring to your legs.
Oh, thank you.
No, I mean the sticky stuff.
What? Oh! Hitchhikers. I've been working on a new orchid hybrid, and they're beautiful. I will say, I am looking forward to spending more time in the dirt.
The Dean was a big fan, and not just because his...
Well, a bench warmer anyway.
So, what do you think?
Sure, Mr. Strasberry. I've got everything I need to solve this mystery. What did the Dean eat for breakfast? Jam on his shirt and powdered. The evidence points strongly to the Dean's breakfast consisting of 1, maybe 2 donuts. What else can I tell about the Dean's morning? That's not right. Back to the drawing board. No, that's not it. I'm missing something. The Dean had neglected to act of a distracted. This resulted in his whole, which might explain why he has a spoon in his pocket instead of a pen.
看来这个游戏主要花时间在收集线索。
I'm guessing
覆盆子口味。
raspberry.
How did you know?
That part was easy. You always have donuts for breakfast. But something else caught my attention.
Oh?
I think you have something on your mind, Mr. You are usually a picture of precision, but today there's a spoon in your pocket and your shirt.
My, you really... Your father would be so proud.
Thanks. Well, I should be going. I'm meeting your son by the lake.
And I'm meeting your... What a small...
Too small.
A perfectly small...
Who would want to change that?
Pardon?
Nothing. See you on Saturday.
Oh, yes. Until we meet again, Jenny LeClue.
这个推理感觉又有点不是那么的
Well, that's not
不是
creepy
那
at
么
all.
的强烈。
In her short time as a detective, Jenny had learned never to ignore a ringing phone.
不要随便接起路边的电话。
Hello.
The dog barks loudest.
What? CJ, is that you?
The dog barks loudest.
Really? This again? It's me, Jenny. We don't need to do this.
I have no idea who you are, and I know no one by that name. The dog barks loudest before the dog.
Fine. The early bird can't catch the lazy worm.
Good. The wind blows strongly from the east.
People in glass houses should invest in curtains.
Excellent.
这什么东西啊？
Sky is full of fireflies.
The absent-minded goldfish swims into the blender.
Ah, Jenny, it is you.
Of course it is.
I need to meet with you right away.
Okay. Where do you want to meet?
This place will do.
阴谋论者。
Everyone in town knew that CJ was mad. Even me.
He's not dangerous. He just doesn't accept things at face value. Sure, he's a bit fixated on extra.
CJ and Jenny said, but most of all, CJ...
And not a little kid. CJ, why did we go through all that if you're right here?
Can't be too careful. Are you sure you weren't followed?
Who would be following me?
阴谋论者。
Shh. This place is compromised. We don't have long to talk. Now, what did you want to talk
What?
to? Did I? Why?
Talking to CJ was a bit like navigating a maze. You had a rough idea of where you were headed, but you couldn't...
I'll help you figure it out.
这个不能用滑鼠操作，有点烦，就只能用这个。他不是几天没睡觉了吧，这家伙。
Is it your birthday, CJ?
Birthday? Thanks, it's birthday. Assassination? Abduction? Almost certainly.
CJ, the card?
Oh, this. It's for you. Impossible shot. Died instantly.
啊，你爸爸的事我感到很抱
No
歉。
suspects. No human suspects. Anyway,
Thanks, CJ. I didn't think you'd remember.
I know what it's like to lose something. Now triple shred and incinerate that card. It's got my fingerprints all over it.
所以他爸爸不知道怎么着过世了。
What's that sticking out of your sock?
Ah, that's why I intercepted a secret message. Proof, Jenny. It's time for us to join the fight.
外星人就在我们之间，他为了你的宠物而来。
It's been professionally printed.
Could CJ finally be onto something?
立刻加入太空科幻童
This
子
is part of a
军。
cereal box.
A cereal box from a...
Nope, just a regular cereal box.
But why? Why would it just be lying there in the trash?
I'm sorry, CJ, but this isn't one of them.
Jenny had uncovered why something else had caught her eye.
Hiding something. A compass with strange symbols looks broken. Where did you get that compass?
Ah, you spotted it. I knew it belonged to my father. He left it to me to find the truth.
You're not going to find anything with that. The needle is wandering. A bit like you.
It's searching.
For what?
For them. It's this town, Jenny. It's here, among us.
Or it could
be. I guess.
So what's the plan now?
Library. Very important.
They let you back in?
Not yet. But I've got this hut now.
It wasn't your head that needed cover.
No, for disguise.
I know, CJ. What is it this time? More UFOs? Radio wave mind control? A globally connected communication network used exclusively?
Jenny, you sound crazy. I'm just preparing my defense for the hearing.
Is this because you tried to hypnotize Mrs. Brown's prize poodle?
布朗夫人宠爱的贵宾狗，那是上星期的事情，希望它在水桶里尿的。
CJ. Gross.
And this is the thanks I get for
让大家
saving
免于
everyone
精
from the
神控
mind
制药物的
control
迫害。
Well, I guess I'll see you later then.
But CJ was gone.
CJ, I know you're standing behind the phone booth. I just watched you walk over there.
No, I'm not.
Okay then. Bye.
See you later.
看来这是一个充满怪咖的地方。
Ah! Damn. That's Oops. Hi, Jenny. Great job solving that case today. It's really cute the way I wish I was that close with my parents.
Enough chit-chat. Got anything new for me?
Oh, yes. This is the real deal. I haven't had a chance to distribute these yet, so keep...
Ada and Jenny belong an eclectic band of treasure hunters, collectors, creators. Together, they were Sticker Club. For generations, Gumboldt students had been hiding and finding stickers all over town. Officially, Jenny was too young to join. But she'd found so many stickers on her own that they'd made her an honorary member.
这居然是一个贴纸收集俱乐部。
Nice.
Thanks. I spent all week making...
If only you spend as much time in your schoolwork, you might...
Jenny thought...
It's to celebrate the dean's retirement. I'm super sad that he's leaving.
It's a perfect reason to make...
Exactly. Oh, we're going on an epic sticker hunt before the dean's...
Even if Jenny had wanted to join them...
And I don't.
She knew she'd be stuck with her cousin all weekend.
Thanks, but... I will...
Oh, okay. See you around, Jenny.
哦，所以它贴纸部那些贴纸都是这样来的啊。所以出现这个 M 的时候，就代表说有东西可以找咯。但我怎么会知道是在哪儿呢？
Lake Nowhere, 1 mile.
Stop! Perfect. Hold it right there.
不，我觉得没有很 perfect。
Okay, let her go.
不不不不不不不不不不。
Oh dear.
That was ominous.
这不吉利呀！这个我就说不能这样子做的。
Detective for hire. Jenny had saved up the whole summer to place an ad in the local paper, but no one had answered it. Until now. What could this new case be? Her imagination ran wild, picturing the possibilities. And so, after helping her...
珍妮靠近森林边缘时，听到一个奇怪的声音。
What the?
Hey, kid! Watch where you're going!
Hey, screw you! Your wrench nearly cracked my head open.
Oh no! It's not damaged, is it? That's my lucky wrench.
Yeah, lucky it didn't kill me. When's this upgrade gonna be finished anyway?
Look, kid, I just go where they tell me. Every night another power surge. Every morning another part of the grid fry. And I'm out here fixing it. Do I get any thanks? No.
What's causing all the outages?
松鼠，松鼠。
At the moment, a little red-headed girl. Now throw me my wrench, kid.
好吧。
Fine. I've got bigger fish to fry.
Thanks, kid.
我其实也不是很 care 为什么会停电。虽然说，我觉得今年夏天我们肯定是要停很多电的。
As Jenny stepped out of the next to that, something even cool. Keith Stroudsbury.
这什么东西
Come on, Keith! Dance like you beat it! Not so much grinding.
Oh, Keith, what are you doing?
Not everyone saw it, but to Jenny, there was something special about Keith.
He's just happy being himself.
Nothing seemed to bother him.
你的怪咖朋友。
Not even having to dance in a costume for $1 an hour.
But Jenny was not so laid back.
Not when it comes to standing up for a friend.
Especially her only friend.
I think there's been enough dancing for one day, don't you?
Hey, Jenny.
Hello, Susan.
Actually, I prefer Susie.
Busy laughing while others earn a living, Susan? Not everyone's got your dad's money, I guess.
Jenny, hi.
院长的儿子，板凳球员。
Intense, mysterious eyes. Cool should have been his middle name instead of Tarquin. But Keith was so cool, he didn't even...
Give me 1 minute.
Sure. Don't let me interrupt.
My shift ends.
In 15 minutes, I know. I'm early. I'm meeting a client over at the dock. Paid case. Could be big. Couldn't be as big as her head.
Wow, that's really...
Impressive? Maybe. All I care about is keeping this town.
The only crime here is that haircut.
Back in a minute, Keith. I'll have the usual. Six sugars, a splash of milk, and a dash of cinnamon.
You got it.
但这个妹子，这个小姑娘，她其实感觉其实好像也没有那么坏。
How about now?
Move it to the left a bit.
What's he doing up there?
Not now, kid. We're busy.
Any better?
No, keep going.
Now?
Yes, it's working.
That's what all the fuss is about?
Not this guy.
What is that?
Whatever it is, it's not my music. Maybe it's... Shh. I'm trying to shush. I'm the DJ.
When's this party getting...
Just...
how are we supposed to dance to this?
I think we're losing them.
Another station must be...
But there aren't any other stations. Wait! All these wires must be...
Jenny listened closely. It was like no other...
Hold it steady!
Sorry, I'm trying.
That's just getting worse.
No, wait! I can almost make out what they're saying.
外星人通讯。
Just like that.
What did you do?
That's no use. We gotta get this equipment back to the AV department by 6.
Jenny was so lost.
My client. I'm supposed to meet her at the dock. Danger. No. Sounds safe. get this ladder down.
有它。
A ladder that doesn't ladder.
可能要踢它吧，我想。
Aha! Got you this time, you slippery fella. Ah, shucks. Just another boot.
Excuse me, Mr. Humdrum.
Oh my! If it isn't, what a glorious day, don't you think?
As far as Jenny was concerned, uncomfortable.
But Mom always says...
So, she gave it a shot.
How's the fishing?
Oh, the fishing's great, but the catching is bad. All I'm getting are old boots and strange bits of metal. Just look out there. She's got that wonderful afternoon glow.
No one knew why then few were brave enough. What lay beneath its depths.
Somewhere out there lies the...
But no one's ever caught one.
Well, if she's out there...
Great. Well, now that we have a good...
Well, she's down there on the ridge.
Only one problem.
Ah, yes. There's a knack to it. First you shake it, then you kick it, and then you push it.
Sounds unnecessary.
I'll join you down there in a bit. Just have to sort my tackle out.
Aha! That did the trick. Mrs. Humdrum, I presume?
Oh, hello!
I'm the private detective you contacted.
小声说出秘密暗号。
The code word is Purple Panda. I'm here to solve your case.
Who is it, Dan?
It's Jenny, dear, the LeClue girl. She doesn't see so well without her glasses.
Oh, hello, Jenny. I'm afraid I don't see so well without my glasses.
Nothing wrong with her hearing, though.
What did she say?
I said there's nothing wrong with your hearing, dear.
Oh, no, thank you. I've already eaten.
I believe you have.
We do.
Great. So what's the haunted by the ghost of a forager being poisoned? Something so dark
该
and
宠物不见了
gruesome.
吧？
I've lost my reading glasses.
哦，他弄丢他的眼睛。
And there it was, a confounding mystery.
I thought this was.
What do you think, Jenny? Can you help?
Sure, Mr. Humdrum. I'm gonna need to ask you a few questions.
遗失的眼睛。
I expect you're finding it.
Oh no, I never like to feel the canvas.
She's an incredible.
Thanks, but I don't mix business.
I've never been interrogated before.
不戴眼镜，他怎么看得清楚颜色的呢？
Do you often carry a pair of?
She doesn't go anywhere with.
I presume you don't wear.
No, I can't get my eyes close enough to be.
I see.
You really are very.
The best.
How long have you been solving?
I'll ask the questions, thank you.
所以我们只要知道他之前去过哪儿就行啦，是吧？
Jenny had often snuck through the hole. She could understand why they were chasing the promise. What the adults were chasing was less related.
I notice you're a gambler. You've been to the Greyhound races.
That was yesterday.
We always go to.
Did you take your binoculars with?
Of course. Those little critters.
Interesting.
What's next? Fingerprints? Or polygraph test? It's like you're reading my mind.
啊，新贴纸。 去做了头发。
Looks freshly blow dry. A professional job. Your hair looks lovely today.
Thank you. Dan didn't notice.
They call it the queen.
Well, it's certainly...
And expensive.
But I'm worth it, Dan.
Who could put a price?
You're not so bad yourself, Hot.
Gross.
Have you figured it out yet? The suspense is killing me.
That's a large hole. She must have caught it on something. Did you have trouble climbing down?
Why, yes, I did.
There's a tear in your pants.
Well, what do you know? I didn't realize these pants even... I feel like you know more about me than I do.
那咱们还有一个线索。
Jenny recognized the distinct...
She must have been wearing them recently. You still have marks from your glass. You probably lost them.
Oh.
When do you last remember wearing them?
I'm really not sure.
You had them at your Tuesday book?
Oh, yes. Well, you are so thorough.
I think I have everything I need to wrap this one up. Where are Gail's glasses? Gail was at the races last. She had to remove her glasses to use the binoculars. Gail also had her hair cut. It's fluffy and big, and could easily hide a small object.
她的眼睛在头发里。
Solving a complex mystery. But now came the delivering the dramatic denouement.
Let's review the facts. 1. Not only do you come to depend on them for greyhound watching, basically anything far away.
That's true.
I immediately sensed the two opted us to use 1.
Fascinating.
Fact 2.
I did.
Though fun, it was so tall that it could easily...
I see where this is going.
Please, don't interrupt. After much research, I've concluded there is a... They've been on your head the whole time.
Oh, so they are.
Incredible.
They're always in the last place you look.
The master detective in the...
What would we have done without you?
Gail, don't forget to pay the...
Oh, of course. You must be rewarded generously for all your hard work. Now don't spend it all.
Thanks. I'll do my best.
这是什么小气夫妻档？丁丁历险记是什么来着？
Are you ready, Keith?
Wow, what an amazing...
Glasses on her head.
Oh, you heard.
Whatever would we do without Master...
I thought it was pretty cool, Jenny.
And a whole nickel.
Yeah, that's more than her mom makes in a month.
Come on, guys. Let's all just... Hey, Jenny, my grandma called. She wants her sweater back.
Oh, how wonderful it was to joke around with friends.
I've had enough of this. Over-application of makeup, hair drawn over face. Wear sunglasses even at night. You're trying to distract from something. A lazy eye, perhaps?
What? No! Shut up, Jenny! You don't know anything!
Wow, Jenny. That was cruel.
Who even says something like that?
这很毒吗？这
Oh, don't cry, Veronica. She's just a weirdo nobody!
Jenny, let who?
And the case of the missing...
Yeah. Good one. Come on. Let's get you home.
这些也太双标了吧？就准他们自己说刻薄的话，不让别人反刺回去的吗？
Thanks for the coffee, Keith. And the extra sugar.
Of course.
Nothing special at all, and the same thing he does for everyone.
Oh, okay. See you around, Keith.
Well, that
that. Shall we?
Yeah. I've got no customers now anyway.
Nothing exciting ever happens here. I'm so tired of these simple cases.
听起来像是绘本什么？失望。嘿，你打到无辜的鸟了。
You helped that old lady. Darn.
Thanks, Keith. But it was including your girlfriend.
She's not my.
And you really mustn't let them treat you like that. Stick up for yourself.
They don't mean.
And sometimes you just gotta speak up.
Well,
You can't just let people walk all.
Okay.
It doesn't matter anyway. Not in this ghost town.
It's not so bad.
Don't you ever wonder what?
Oh.
Who am I kidding? There is nowhere else. Not for miles.
Oh, shucks.
And see, practice is going well. Is your dad still pressuring you to play?
Well...
Come on, Keith. And tough love? But you're
not the word.
Well, on the bench anyway.
2023好像有蛮多游戏要出的。
It's a strawberry tree.
That's my point. This whole town is dead. Everyone is just doing what they're told. Where's the ambition?
Are we still talking about basketball?
特级投掷。
How's your mom?
She seems distracted. Normally, she's so focused on her. I mean, it's understandable. And now she's planning to go away for the weekend. And she's...
Yeah?
She was definitely acting weird earlier.
Maybe she's lonely?
You know what?
I am?
She shouldn't be alone right actually. Your dad told me they were meeting in the... Going to need supplies. 2 of Mr. Bean's finest. Here is my payment and...
That's a nickel.
Put the rest on my tab? Thanks for the pep talk, Keith. You always know what to say to me.
Last stone. You want it?
You take it. You need to practice.
Here goes nothing.
3-pointer! Nice one, Keith. Maybe your luck's finally changing.
Wow, 谁踢下这什么东西啊？
Keith was an excellent listener. Or maybe he just didn't speak much. Either way, Jenny really enjoyed their little talks. He was the only person who really seemed to understand her.
哇！不要跟我说那个院长被干掉了。
Gerald Strasberry. Cornelius Strasberry. It's a wall of Strasberries.
The Stroudsbury lineage, there had been a Dean Stroudsbury.
It won't be for much longer. The dean's retiring, and he's not exactly the academic type. No one on duty. There's a note on the desk.
此人不得进入图书馆。缩放。有人一直把运输车留在安静的图书区，请记得把运输车放回服务台。 哇塞，这个灯好艺术啊
！That was weird. Hello, Mom, Mr. Strasberry.
Jenny's words echoed through the line.
Something's not right here.
A mystery was unfolding.
Whatever it is, I'll get to the bottom of it.
人都去哪了？
Mom,
Les Stroudsbury.
Looking a bit wonky today, Mr. Stroudsbury.
A pair of wires ran down the wall and disappeared.
It's too high to reach. What are you hiding back there? The chandeliers that adorn, kindly donated by the
Glatz family was one of the old. They were the first to mine the valuable quartz, and as such,
and they sure like to let everyone know it.
这就是水晶灯。哎呀，这个的收集品好烦哦，一直要我这样子去收。
Laddertron 5000, the pinnacle of remote, kindly donated by the Glatz Foundation.
哎呦喂呀
！Dangerous.
The newly installed ladder system.
Should have kept the old wooden ladder. I need to find a way to turn the power off.
Jenny gazed at the technology.
Seems pointless. Sometimes it feels like some unknown force is just trying to slow me down.
这是什么东西？这是什么意思呀？啊！我看不是很出来，这个是想干嘛？
Jenny was notorious.
It's the only way to reach the fact.
But something else had caught her eye.
This table's a complete. Would leave it like this. Illegible scribbles, a worn copy of Alien.
Jenny knew only one.
CJ. It's odd though. Can you use what's this?
A tattered piece of paper with a series of seemingly unrelated notes.
UFOs.
It seemed that CJ...
Wait, there's something on the other side. Wow, a color map of Arthurton.
Jenny had never seen it.
Can't believe CJ left this behind. That's so unlike him. He'd be terrified if anyone else found it.
淡水铁路哦，
I'll keep it
很
safe.
小很小的时候有看过一眼。我记得那个蓝色的火车，蓝色的火车，蓝色的车厢应该怎么讲？攀爬，什么意思啊？AD 加 Enter。
No secrets between friends.
Jenny stood on her tiptoes and delicately removed the priceless painting from the wall.
我就算做过也忘记了，那个时候还太小。
Aha! Precisely what I.
It was?
Let's see. Ladders. I'll cut the power.
But Jenny knew better than to play with electricity, so she left it alone.
I guess I'll find another. Wait. It's a simple switch.
But Jenny was strong in her convictions and seldom changed her
好吧，
mind
我们
once
只
she'd
能关闭
made
断
Well,
路
I'm
器。
changing it this time.
出大事了啦！
the eerie silence. But even worse was the dark. Jenny had
Just a great detective never succumbs to fear. Looks like that did the trick.
我反而是记得第一次搭捷运，那个时候捷运淡水线刚开放试乘，就试车期间，我们有去搭那个试乘阶段的那个。淡水不是啊，淡水是很早的，是很早开发的地点啊，所以跟人口没有什么关系。淡水在日据时期就已经是一个著名的那个，就已经是一个著名的通商口岸了。其实也还好欸。淡水的人口好像跟淡水的人口好像
Rare books. Our most precious collections kindly donated by the glass. Yeah, we know.
The fallen remains of a book.
Looks like a bomb went off. It's too precarious to climb over.
Jenny stopped in her tracks. The sign clearly read, the path was blocked.
You're kidding me, right?
Trampling muddy feet. She was a maverick, not a monster.
所以不能过去。但是这里感觉好像又没有什么路，只有这个门。
It's locked. No problem. I'll just pick it.
Jenny was skilled with it, but that was just for fun. You couldn't just go around.
A great detective knows, and the paperclip she has in her pocket. Mom always says, lockpicking is a subtle art. Move slowly and search for the sweet spot. Bingo.
It must have been a rush of. Regardless, what treasures lay behind the door?
Oh, it's empty. Still, that book cart could be useful.
重点难道不是应该我们要赶快找他妈妈在哪吗？推不动。
Something's blocking the ladder. There's something stuck in the track.
啊！院长的戒指。
No wonder the ladders were malfunctioning. The ring must have caused a short circuit. I'll keep hold of this and return it to the dean when I see him next.
院长怕不是遭遇不幸了吧
An empty library.
This mystery has all the hallmarks of foul play. They say words can't hurt you. In this case, I'd be inclined to disagree. Solid iron and it would have taken some serious force to do this. Something bad happened here. This is feeling more and more.
And then Jenny saw it. Covered in a ripped curtain and so.
It is a crime scene.
糟糕，不太妙。别死！
You never forget the first time you see it. Harrows the mind, terrified.
A dead body? No way! This is amazing!
你认真的吗？
Under that curtain, who had shuffled off this?
It could be anyone. I mean, it could be an escaped lunatic or an axe-wielding maniac.
也可能是你妈妈呀。
Mom? Oh no! Please no.
No, you never forget the first time you see a dead body. Jenny knew it was.
But I have to know who's under here.
Slowly, she.
Please don't be my mom. Please don't be my mom. Dean Stroudsbury! Thank God.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Poor Mr. Stroudsbury. What happened to you?
Was this a terrible accident? Or worse?
Murder!
Her stomach churned. Seeing the Dean's lifeless, Jenny felt the urge to run. Jenny had longed for She gathered herself, took a deep breath, and began to search for clues.
这个伤痕也太
He
可
looks
疑了
like
吧
he's been dead for weeks. His skin is pale and cold. There's a strange mark on his neck. The hawk and the weasel, and it could be important. And again, it could have just joined the Dean for the ride. A book about chance. What are the odds that this was an accident?
我们家是原生的淡水住户，应该不算吧？我大概幼稚园上幼稚园之前才搬到淡水。
lay open on today's date.
Perhaps I
我
can
们家
retrace
原
the
本住在
steps
市
and
里
create a。timeline of events.
回顾他的行程。
Looks like he completed all his chores for the day. I already knew the Dean was, so where is she now?
然后
He sure was working hard on that. Sad he won't get to deliver it.
他们自行提名吧。
Looks like he canceled his meetings on Friday. Oh, poor Keith.
Jenny didn't know how she would break.
But I should be the one to tell him. Gossip spreads like wildfire in Arthurton. Meet JL. Where's Widow's Drop? I've never heard of it. It's smashed. The hand stopped at 3:57. That gives me a potential.
If Jenny had arrived,
I might have been able to save him.
the Dean's hand was clapped shut.
其实就还蛮热闹的。
Rigor
我记
mortis
得
usually takes hours to set in. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, Mr. This could be a vital clue. Mom's ID card?
Julie LeClue had.
She could be the last person.
She could be.
Impossible. She'd never leave such incriminating.
But even the smartest Jenny couldn't deny.
If anyone else sees this, they'll think my mom's a murderer.
A peculiar thought crossed Jenny.
Unless?
Removing evidence from a...
So is planting evidence to frame an innocent person.
She had no proof of...
I have to do something.
当然是先拿走啊，还问吗
My mom would kill me. But I have to protect her.
谁能怪罪一个可怜的小孩呢
It's a book about predicting the future. Suppose it didn't belong to Mr. Stroudsbury then. There are bits of glass and metal. He has burn marks on his hand. I think that's all the evidence I'm going to...
She took one last look.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stroudsbury. I promise I'll get to the bottom of this.
Jenny knew she should. But how often did a case...
Never. There's more to this than meets the eye. Some of this evidence...
So she opened her journal to join the dots.
What was the apparent cause of death? That's not right. Back to the drawing board. It looks like the dean was thrown from the balcony when he reached down to pick up which was stuck in the electrified lamp. He grabbed the curtain. He landed on a bed of metal and glass debris. What is unusual about the dean's death?
有什么异常哦？这感觉还蛮异常。
Dean has a strange mark, all the skin around his face. I've never seen anything like. He's holding my mom's ID card. Why would she or anyone want to kill Dean Stroudsbury?
Jenny suspected foul play. Had she missed something?
The watch! The dean's watch stopped at 3:57 p.m. When I came into the library, the clock tower rang 4 times. The library only has one exit, and I haven't seen anyone but the dean since I got here.
凶手正在
if the dean...
The killer must still be here. He's getting away.
Hắn爬窗户。所以凶手刚刚一直躲在这边看我吗
Jenny could hear police.
Someone must have tipped them off. I'll catch the murderer and keep him...
Chasing after murderers was hardly the job.
Hey, you! Stop!
Despite surviving, Jenny couldn't help but feel she had... As the sirens grew loud, and then she'd have to explain why. But the worst feeling of all was as she drifted slowly, concerned, gentle.
Jenny? Oh, Jenny.
Mom?
Freeze! You're under arrest.
好吧，这个
What have I done? I killed him. This is all wrong. Murder in Arthurton? This is not an appropriate story. Poor Dean Stroudsbury. What was I thinking? I've gone too far. Perhaps I should take a break. Come on, Rufus. Let's clear our heads and work off some of this jam.
啊，还有 CJ 啊。CJ 去哪儿了呢 ？CJ 有看到些什么吗？
Told you. Why? We were going to grade papers. When do I get to see her?
Did you disturb the
为什么会搬到淡水？因为我爸上班的地方从淡水去比较快啊。我爸在石门那边上班。
He could have been. I was just trying to help. I want to speak to my mom.
没有，纯粹是上班的考量。那没办法，因为再往石门那边就太荒凉了。对啊，不然的话，我妈也在讲说，如果当年买的是40，我们家现在不就发财了？
Please, look at me. Keith, wait! 这是我妈讲的，又不是我。他们有交通车啦，他就算住在士林也有交通车，只是真的就会很久，就是。他们公司是有交通车的。合一，那个时候和4都还没开始盖吧？合一厂啊，不是合4啊。合4那时候还没开始盖呢。这玩意到底想要我干嘛？
这种游戏居然还能够那个吗？这种游戏居然还能逃杀吗？不是，重点是这个脚也太快了吧！
My mom was in jail. Keith told me he never won. Worst of all, I was surrounded by an evil army of giant teddy bears.
Unfortunately, it was all...
My eyes! Everything's pink.
But her eyes were fine. It was the room that was pink.
这是什么可怕配色的房间？
Pink furniture, pink clothes, and a hand-drawn homage to teenage covered in pink hearts. Everything a teenage...
It looks like a marshmallow exploded.
It was at this point Jenny...
I shouldn't be here. And what is that terrible music? I can't think straight with that racket playing.
他怕不是被丢到他表亲家了？
These aren't my clothes. And where's my journal?
不然就是那个金发小女孩。
The dean's ring. It was in my pocket.
不会啊，我们真正在核电厂工作的家庭才不会觉得核能是危险的。
You're the fan that I love.
Ah, yes. Even though I'm a big...
Who buys this crap? Huh? Hushed whispers in the hallway? I should investigate.
这个水晶灯，一看就是那个很有钱的那个小女孩他们家。
It's locked. Who would trap a child in this nightmarish hellscape?
Jenny peeped through as her eyes adjusted to the light. Arthurton's long-standing sheriff and Jenny's...
Granddad!
啊，弱点是小猫咪。
Jenny's relationship with her he was a stern and humorless...
Sometimes even
But what was he doing here?
And who is he talking to?
Florence and Richard Glatz were their company, Glatz Mining, and while Richard may have been, everyone knew that Florence was exceptionally charming and...
Which is why I don't trust her one bit.
Being careful not to make a sound, Jenny leaned in.
With everything going on, I don't have time to watch her.
It's no trouble at all, really. She can stay for as long as she'd like. I only hope she feels better soon.
She should have left the boy alone.
Really, Winston. This whole her mother in jail. And what one shudders at the... And all this barely a year.
She'll be fine. Just keep an eye on her.
Oh, don't worry. Pony rides, afternoon tea, and tomorrow. Oh, that reminds me.
Dress shopping. First, I need to get out of here.
But her curiosity, she had to know what Mrs. Glatz had gone to fetch. And so she waited. When the lady's tea pump, little did he know the impact.
Little did he know the Glatz family.
Nowadays, it was hard to go anywhere in town without seeing something made from it. The duty of sheriff had passed from father. Of course, that tradition, but he preferred not to think about that. Nathaniel Glatz stared disapprovingly.
Creepy old man.
Actually, this was the man. When the quartz mines, it was his research that secured the future prosperity of the town and the company.
Huh? Where did he go?
Winston. Really? A man of... I've told you already. She won't...
It was probably just...
Sinister.
Here.
Why does Mrs. Glatz have official police documents?
Satisfied.
How is Julie?
She's in the safest place.
Surely they don't believe she's...
I don't envy you. It must be hard to stay. If the poor dear would just confirm...
I have everything under...
Of course you do, dear. We must continue to look out...
Sheriff, are you receiving?
Go ahead.
It's the LeClue house, sir. We found some...
I'll be right there. Over.
It sounds like you.
Yes.
Good night, Winston.
Don't let her out of your sight.
I'm sure we'll manage.
Jenny couldn't believe what she...
Everyone thinks my mom's a murderer.
Thankfully, her mother, fine people of the art.
Oh, God.
Jenny could leave the case to them and enjoy a fun...
No.
No?
Mom always says a great have to do something.
But she was just a kid.
This is my chance. My mom needs me. I'm gonna find my stuff and get out of here.
And just like that, a great adventure began.
好，我觉得我们今天估计我们哇塞，什么东西？鬼娃娃小猪吧，这个。
You scared the life out of me, pig.
这是什么鬼娃娃小猪？没有，我们家真的不会怕这个东西。刚刚储存哦。好吧，那我们今天就到这边吧。我们今天就先到这边吧。我们明天再继续，明天再继续。哦，玩这个游戏其实也蛮累的。那明天见喽，拜拜。